Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. With temperatures warming and pandemic restrictions loosening, it's time to chill out and cool off by the water. If you like to canoe the Clyde or dive into the Dog, Lake Champlain Sea Grant has some great educational projects and programs for kids of all ages. In a moment, we'll learn how you can take in the lake while you're riding your bike. But first, we're headed to the waterfront in Burlington, where Watershed and Lake Education Coordinator Ashley Eaton has a challenge for all you would-be explorers.
I want to tell you about a new project that the University of Vermont Extension and Lake Champlain Sea Grant are launching called the Watershed Explorer Kits. And so this is a set of 2 kits that are going to be at local libraries. I'm going to tell you how you can check them out in a minute, but first I want to show you what's inside the kits. So in our first kit, this kit is meant to be completed at home, and so this is our Watershed Explorer Kit. And in this, the culminating activity is going to be using this tabletop watershed model to evaluate how runoff occurs and how non-point source pollution can impact water quality. So in the kit, there are a couple shakers with some kind of some different amalgamations of things. So one is meant to be a fertilizer, one is meant to be road salt. So you're going to sprinkle these on the model and kind of just across the landscape where they might naturally occur, and then you're going to have the opportunity to make it rain. And so while you're doing this, you're going to get to observe how, as water moves on the landscape from higher elevations to lower elevations, runoff occurs and pollution kind of moves through the landscape. And so that is this activity, and then there are a couple of books and other pieces in here that kind of go along with expanding on that. So this is kit 1, and then kit 2 is meant to be used at a stream or a local water body, and this really is a water quality monitoring backpack with a little kick net here on the side. So this kit is filled with a bunch of goodies that are all geared towards monitoring water quality. So in this backpack you can monitor chemical parameters such as dissolved oxygen, pH. You can also monitor physical parameters like velocity, flow, and then my favorite part of this is actually using the kick net that is right here. So this piece of equipment kind of unrolls, and you can use this with a couple folks, and this is used for biological assessments. And so when you are in the stream, you're trying to take a snapshot of what's happening, and the biological, the life there, these benthic macroinvertebrates that you can kind of see here on this dichotomous key, are organisms that are going to spend either a portion of their life or their entire life cycle living there. And so as a scientist, what does that mean? That means that these are really great indicators of water quality. So depending on the organisms that you're going to find in your sample, it can indicate that it is a body of water that's impaired by pollution or a body of water that's actually quite pristine and healthy. And so these organisms are kind of all mixed up here, but depending on kind of what species, like a caddisfly or a mayfly, that's going to help with your overall evaluation of water quality. And lastly, to tie it all together, so these kits are accompanying our Watershed Explorer Challenge. And so this is a booklet of a series of activities designed to go outside, explore your local watershed, and learn a little bit about the water quality here in the Lake Champlain Basin. This project will be launching on June 17th. There will be a list of all of the libraries that are participating in the Watershed Kit program on our website, so you can go there, go to the homepage, and you can kind of follow the links through to see which libraries are participating, where you can pick up kits, and also where you can pick up the Watershed Explorer Challenge booklet.
Ashley joins us now via Zoom to discuss other educational programs for the summer. Welcome, Ashley.
Thanks so much. Welcome.
So these are very cool kits, and I want to ask you a little bit more about those Explorer kits. Is there an age range, and how long can the kits be checked out?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would suggest the Watershed Explorer kits for kind of elementary and middle school age students, but they really are designed to be fun for the whole family. So if you have a diverse range of students or kiddos, I think it would be fun for the whole family to go out and engage in some of these activities.
So how are the kits maintained, and are they restocked as the summer goes on? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are doing a training next week with all of the participating librarians, and so they'll be receiving training on some of the field equipment and how to maintain it. And then we've also provided the libraries with a bunch of extra goodies. So as things break or go missing, libraries will be able to restock throughout the summer. So the kits are ready to go for families at any time.
That's really cool. So Lake Champlain's basin is huge, but it's not the only lake or watershed in the state. So talk about how the kits inform people about their own local watersheds and why that's so important.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of the freshwater problems, whether they're on Lake Champlain or Lake Carmi or in some of our, mountain streams up near Mount Mansfield, they're all very interconnected. And so the kits are really designed to have students and families explore their local watershed, dive into some of the local water quality issues, and then learn about watershed-wise practices that they can engage in to improve water quality in their community.
Great. And prior to the pandemic, you offered public tours of the lake on the UVM research vessel. I think it's the Melosira.
Yep.
And are those educational excursions starting up again?
That is a great question. The quick answer is no. However, we are partnering with Local Motion on the bike path out at the Colchester Causeway, so where the bike ferry is between Colchester and the islands, to do some on-lake education, if you will. So we are going to be out there on Fridays through the months of July and August from 12 to 3. So our staff will be out there teaching similar content to what we would be teaching out on the research vessel, just from a kind of a more stationary spot. So come join us out there.
So tell us again where you'll be.
We will be right at the Colchester Causeway at the bike ferry. So right where that bike ferry loads to head over to the islands. We will be kind of mingling out there, chatting with folks that are out there enjoying the lake.
I love that. So you have a great program that deals with runoff. It's called Blue. It's been around for about a decade. Tell us about that program.
Yeah, so Blue is an innovative stormwater mitigation program that provides free consultations and certifies homes, businesses, institutions with watershed-friendly practices. So throughout the basin, if you live there, you're open to getting one of these evaluations at your place of residence to see what you could be doing to improve water quality.
So what's something that a consultant might suggest a business or a homeowner can try to be more watershed friendly?
Yeah, so a lot of the practices that Salix Solutions and Lake Champlain Sea Grant are focused on are green stormwater infrastructure practices. So that might look something like installing a rain barrel, connecting a downspout, basically doing something that's going to keep the water that's on site there and treating it on site versus running off. So more green practices versus more gray and concrete-based practices.
And it's kind of a membership, so businesses can do some stuff, and they get the consultancy, they do some stuff, and then they actually get a membership or something?
Yeah, so they get to be certified as the Blue program. So I think, in Vermont, I think that is something people are particularly interested in, how businesses or organizations are, holding their own and engaging in practices that are, sustainable across various sectors. And so I think you get kind of that tout of saying, I'm Blue certified. I've done my work in this realm to make sure that, our space is not negatively contributing to water quality issues here in the basin regarding stormwater.
Right. And does research show that these practices and changes are actually making a difference?
Yeah, so actually we just did a little bit of reporting this last year, and based on the practices that have been implemented by Blue in 6 towns across the Lake Champlain Basin in Vermont, the Vermont annual, based on average rainfall, the runoff reducing projects by Blue captured an estimated 133,000 gallons of stormwater in 2020. So that's a pretty big number for those small projects.
Significant.
But we're pretty excited about, actually being able to see some results from some of those installations. And I'm sure a lot of the homeowners and businesses were excited to feel like they were having a really positive impact.
Absolutely. That's terrific. And, what do you know about the dry conditions? It's been pretty dry. And how is that impacting lake levels and therefore the algae blooms that we're all quite concerned about these days?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, lower lake levels can cause some areas to be more shallow, which in turn can lead to them being a little more warm or, warming more quickly. And when we think about the conditions that really exacerbate cyanobacteria blooms and some of those more toxic blooms that we have here in the Lake Champlain Basin, we're really concerned about warm water temperatures and nutrient availability. So, drought really can exacerbate that and kind of create those conditions for algal blooms to thrive.
So there's not much we can do except to be aware and watch out for these and to listen to reports, I assume.
Yeah, and I would say, be aware of what a cyanobacteria bloom looks like, know how to identify it early on, always be checking the bodies of water that you're swimming or, letting your dogs play in because it can be toxic. The Lake Champlain Committee has a great monitoring program that does work to keep the public informed.
Right, they have people all up and down the lake checking those things. So before we go, on a personal level, what's your favorite way to get out and enjoy Vermont's waterways?
Oh, great question. I'm probably the most excited. I just taught my dog to stand up paddleboard last summer. So we were out there a ton last summer, and we're excited to get now that it's kind of warm out and swimmable temperatures, we're excited to get out in the lake and do a little paddling.
Oh, I love that. I got turned on to paddleboarding just a year or two ago, and it is my new passion. So I hear you. It's fabulous. So to find out more about how you can get your hands on that wonderful Watershed Explorer kit, go to the website on the screen and follow the link. You can also find a link to Blue, the stormwater consultation program we mentioned, as well as many other resources, research, and opportunities at that website. So check it out. And Ashley, before we go, again, with those Explorer kits, you can get them, you can check out the website to find out what libraries they're at. And how long, again, can you take them out for?
That is up to the library. So they'll
okay.
be at the libraries indefinitely starting at the end of June. And so they should be available. You'll just have to check in with your local library.
Okay, Ashley, thank you so much for what you do.
Thanks so much.
And that's our program for today. Thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.